At the start of the tale, we meet an 18-year-old boy named Sin, a high school student who struggles greatly with his academics. He struggles to focus on his studies, and his school performance is getting worse each day. His parents are quite concerned about his future. One day, his parents decide to go on a trip for a few weeks, but since Sin's exams are just a month away, they leave him at home so he can focus on studying. Sin's mom and dad advise him to be cautious and focus on his studies before they go. They're leaving Sin by himself. With his tests just a month ahead, he seeks a personal tutor to come to his house and help him get ready for the exams. Before long, Sin discovers a tutor who resides close by. Sin quickly heads to the tutor's place. As he is about to press the doorbell, the tutor's neighbor advises him to knock instead since the doorbell is not working. When Sin knocks, a woman in her 50s named Ina, around 50 years old, steps out. Ina welcomes Sin into her house and inquires how he learned about her. Sin responds that he discovered the information on the internet. After speaking with Sin, Ina consents to teach him. Sin believed the instructor would be tough, but Ina is a lovely and smart woman. She is not just skilled at teaching, but also quite gentle. From the very first day, she makes an effort to be nice to Sin so he can learn easily and develop an interest in his studies. To get Sin ready for the upcoming exams, Ina tells him to read literature and assigns him homework to write essays. Sin comes back home and struggles to write the essays, but he completes them and presents them to Ina the following day. Ina is pleased with the essays and says, "You have composed very well." When Ina begins instructing Sin, he keeps gazing at her instead of focusing on his studies, watching how she styles her hair and how she educates. It looks like Sin is beginning to feel drawn to Ina. Sin comes back home, prepares a meal for himself, dines, and then goes to sleep after studying. The following day, Sin rises, prepares himself, and chats with his parents on the phone. Then he heads to his classes. When Sin gets to Ina's home, he notices water dripping from a faucet and Ina attempting to repair it. Sin promptly assists Ina and repairs the faucet. Ina appreciates Sin for his assistance. Then Ina begins instructing Sin, but Sin's focus is on Ina rather than his lessons. Previously, he viewed her merely as an instructor, but now he is beginning to develop a different sort of interest in Ina. He's drawn to her manner of speaking and her kind nature. Now he begins attending tuition not just to learn, but also to hang out with Ina. Sin's focus is more on Ina's words and her actions than on his studies. He begins to notice little details, such as how Ina smiles, how she describes things, how she gets upset, and how she overlooks his minor errors. Slowly, Ina begins to feel drawn to Senator Ina, who was already dealing with solitude in her life, frequently gazes at Sin during lessons, and becomes absorbed in her reflections. One day, Ina's sibling asks her to come to her child's birthday celebration. When Ina gets to the party, her sister presents her to a really nice guy. Ina's sibling wants her to wed that man, but Ina has no desire for marriage, so she expresses her regrets to the man and departs. The following day, when Sin gets to Ina's house, he sees the door ajar. He gently walks into the house and notices a door slightly ajar. When Sin looks inside, he sees Ina getting dressed. Noticing Sin, Ina swiftly shuts the door. Then she swiftly puts on her clothes and steps out. Ina begins instructing Sin, but as usual, his focus is on Ina rather than his schoolwork. Now, he begins searching for reasons to enroll in additional classes. At times, he attempts to remain longer under the excuse of studying. Sin begins to ask additional questions on purpose and attempts to engage in personal discussions with Ina. Sin begins to feel deeply for Ina, and he struggles to manage his feelings. He is totally drawn to his teacher. Ina sets up an account on social media and begins looking at Sin's profile. Slowly, Ina begins to feel drawn to Sin, but she keeps this to herself and attempts to avoid him. The following day, when Sin arrives at Ina's home to study, he unexpectedly removes his clothing and swiftly moves toward Ina. They are both quite pleased with one another. One day, as Ina is coming back home after shopping, she encounters her new neighbor in the elevator. The neighbor attempts to chat with her and begins to flirt, but Ina disregards him and walks away. Then Sin arrives at Ina, and they grow close once more. As time passes, Sin understands that he genuinely loves Ina. In the evening, Sin hosts a gathering with his friends, where they are occupied enjoying personal moments with their girlfriends. But Sin is by himself and drinks. Then, one of his girlfriends keeps staring at him. Sin observes this, and in an inebriated condition, he brings the girl to the unique room, and they become physically close. The following morning, Sin awakens and is astonished to find the girl resting beside him. He gets quite distressed and feels as though he has let Ina down. So he visits Ina's place that evening. There, he spots Ina sitting by herself and reading a book. Then, Sin tells her, "Yesterday, I was celebrating with my friends, and in a tipsy state, I got close with a girl." Sin expresses regret, but Ina remains silent. Then Sin begins hitting himself. Noticing this, Ina embraces him. Following that, Sin departs. Ina gazes out the window and sees him depart. Then she powers on her laptop and opens Sin's social media, where she spots him with a girl. Noticing this, Ina feels down because she has begun to love Sun as well. The following day, Sin comes back home after shopping and notices the girl standing in front of his house. The girl mentions, "I forgot some of my stuff here on the day of the party." Upon hearing this, Sun brings her inside. The girl enters Sin's room and retrieves her clothes from beneath the bed. Then she says, "I left this intentionally so that you would reach out to me and we could reconnect again." The girl now wishes to be in a relationship with Sun, but Sun doesn't want to betray Ina, so he disregards the girl. This causes the girl to feel upset, and she departs. That evening, Sun visits Ina's home. Ina is dressed in a lovely outfit and has made a delightful meal for Senator. They share a meal together and take a stroll outside. They are strolling together, but when someone walks by, Ina releases his hand because she is older than Sun and is worried that others will tease them. This makes Sun feel unhappy, but just then, Ina unexpectedly kisses Senator. After that, they go back to Ina's home and enjoy time together. As Sun is getting ready to head home, he spots the girl who has feelings for him. They chat and begin strolling together. Ina watches them stroll together from the window and feels quite envious. The following day, Ina quietly observes Sun hanging out with his friends. Sin notices her too, but doesn't approach her because he fears his friends will tease him. As Sun departs with his friends, Ina approaches a circle of girls and silently hears their discussion. Among them is the girl who is drawn to Senator. The girl mentions, "I had a great time with Sun that evening." Upon hearing this, Ina gets angry. As Ina heads up to her apartment in the elevator, her neighbor, who previously flirted with her, also enters the elevator. They begin chatting, and Ina leads him to her room. After some time, when Sun comes back to Ina's home from his friends, he notices her neighbor departing. Ina hands him a book, and the neighbor departs. Sun doesn't have any suspicions. He walks into the house and sees it dim. Ina inquires, "Did you encounter that girl?" Sun responds, "No," but Ina believes he is not telling the truth and that he cares for that girl. This makes Ina upset, and she tosses items around. Sun attempts to clarify, "I have no connection with her," but Ina doesn't trust him. They begin to argue, and in frustration, the senator gets upset and wants to walk away, but Ina halts him and attempts to soothe him. At this moment, Sun discovers that Ina has grown close with her neighbor. Ina believed Sun had let her down, so she entered a relationship with the neighbor in frustration. Upon hearing this, Sun gets very upset. Ina says sorry, but Sun is really hurt because Ina has shattered his heart. Sun chooses to keep his distance from Ina, as it will be best for both of them. He begins reflecting on himself and concentrates on his studies. Several days later, Sun's mom and dad come back from their trip. They offer presents for the senator, but the senator still can't forget Ina. He visits Ina one final time. He notices that Ina's room is totally untidy. Ina is sitting silently in a corner. Deep inside, Ina also realizes that their relationship has no future, so she chooses not to tutor Sun anymore. Sun also understands that some relationships are only intended to endure for a specific time. He expresses gratitude to Ina and departs. A year later, Sun is observed going to college and is with a female companion. Out of nowhere, he spots a girl far away who resembles Ina. He begins to walk in her direction. When the girl spins around, he realizes that it is truly Ina. They gaze at one another, grin, and part ways.